Hey, it's Gavin with Haverstick Designs. I just came over to DeLeon's house and just want to check out his drum set. I'm not a drummer, but
Bro, did you touch my drums? What the heck is going on out here?
yeah, man, I'm really sorry. But since we're here, can we check out your studio?
Of course.
Sean, thanks for having us in the studio, man.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's great to be here and to see it in person, because last time I was here, it was just drywall walls and didn't have
paint falling off the wall.
Yeah, a little bit of treatment in here. There was a fish on the wall.
There was a fish, and then I think there was some weird pictures and stuff.
There definitely was weird
strange
pictures.
things going on
yeah,
in here.
yeah. So, man, it's totally transformed to what it is right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a really fun process, like designing this with you, because we always like to get feedback from our clients about what they like aesthetically, and you know, normally the process is like, hey, we'll ask you what inspires you. Like, you show us some pictures of other rooms and things like that. You supplied that to us. And
probably too many, so sorry about that.
Actually, the more the better. The more the better.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're wildly different from each other, then that's not great, because then it's like, which one do we choose? But yeah, it was a really great process to design this with you. I know that, you know, one of the things is that isolation wasn't super critical for you.
No, it was. I mean, I've blasted music in this room at like 105, 110 dB.
Mm-hmm.
I went outside like 10 feet out of my house. You can't hear anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever.
The beauty of a basement, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, not having to worry about disturbing other people in the house. Your girlfriend is okay with the
She's
music,
okay
I'm
with
guessing?
it. Yeah,
Okay.
we went to school for audio together.
Oh,
So
okay.
she's okay.
It's expected.
Yeah, she's like, it's gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's great. So, and that makes for a project that's way easier, honestly, because the construction that it takes to isolate a room, you know, in a lot of our studio tours on our YouTube channel, like, there's just heavy construction, double wall systems, spring hung ceilings. There's just a lot that goes into it. It extends the time of the project, and then the
budget goes way up.
Yeah, all of that.
Too much.
Yes. Yeah. So when you said that isolation wasn't an issue, I was just a big sigh of relief. It's like, man, this is going to be easier. But then, yeah, when you started sending over some images, I was like, man, he definitely likes that custom look rather than maybe individual panels that you would see in some studios. And so we got a sense of that, created some renderings for you.
It was really cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, I think the renderings, we maybe went to 2 or 3 revisions on something like that.
I think so, yeah. I think color was a thing, and then it was like small things like the desk and then like the speakers. But yeah, it's part of the aesthetic.
What do you think about, like, because obviously you've probably, I know you've had other studios in the past, but you probably have dreamed of having this own space for quite a while. Like, what was it like seeing those renderings? Like, this is what it could be.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna be broke. That's the first thing I saw or said. I was like, oh no. But yeah, I don't know. It was really sick to see. I was like, if I could have that in my basement, I don't know if I'm ever gonna leave this house. Ever. I'm gonna be here forever.
I guess first tell us a little bit about, you know, some of the gear that you chose and what, you know, what you used the most. So
I guess at the heart of the system, I don't have a console, right? So a lot of people do in studios, but I have an Apollo system. So Universal Audio Apollo, and I have 2 X8Ps and then a Twin X quad. And I mean, those are just channels. I get 16 channels from the Twin X, the X8Ps, and then the Twin X is really just a monitor controller, honestly. Has all the buttons to switch between all the 3 speakers here. But since I don't have a console, I needed something, right, that kind of gives that flavor. So that's what this cool thing over here is. It's that 5057 Orbit from Rupert Neve Designs. Yeah. And so I basically take outs from the Apollo using the actual analog outs, and I use ADAT to digitally send signal, and then I feed it all into the 5057, and I feed it back in. Okay. It sounds like a console. And you've got the PMC 6.2s in here, which are beautiful monitors. They're amazing monitors, man. I've questioned if they're too big for the space, but I don't think they are anymore. No. They sound great. No, yeah, I mean, they were in here when I first arrived, and you know, the room was treated with some off-the-shelf items, and so obviously with the new treatment, it's going to perform better than that. Way better.
However, I don't think they're too big for the room. Yeah,
No.
I would have advised otherwise, if they were. However, they're beautiful. Yeah,
They sound
great.
really good.
Yeah.
I wish everyone could hear it that's watching this video.
Yeah, that's true. That's the one thing we need to figure that out on studio tours is how someone can actually
Some like
listen to it.
aural thing, you get the binaural thing.
We'll figure that out.
That might work.
For another one. But yeah, I mean, it was really fun to work on this with you, and this is the control room, mixing room, and then you also have some ability to do tracking out in the next room. But
yeah.
Man, getting to this point with all the treatment, it started with us doing testing, and we tested out the room of how it currently sounded, because you did have some acoustical panels in here.
I did. I had like Prime Acoustic, I think was what we had on the walls.
Yep.
And I had some, I don't remember the company, but bass traps in the corners. And then I had a cloud as well, or Prime Acoustic Cloud.
Yes. So we had those elements in here. I know that you just wanted to kind of improve the acoustics, but also go to that kind of custom look and vibe that we see here today. So.
It's much different. Very, very, very cool. I look at the corners, and I still don't even know what you call them, but I was like, this looks crazy.
Yeah. So that element's just like a soffit bass trap around the perimeter. It's something we use in a lot of our studio designs because for tangential modes in the room, like the best place to treat is the vertical and horizontal corners around the room. And that is something, in this room, there was nothing going on in those areas anyway, so we might as well make use of it and make the room sound better. But then it also is awesome because you can add in these recessed lights to get that recessed light look without cutting big holes in the ceiling. While isolation wasn't a huge concern for you, you still don't want to make it even worse than it was.
And then we didn't have to shrink the room more too, which was important to me because I wanted to keep it kind of big.
Yeah.
Because the room's about, do you remember the dimensions? I think it was like 17.
Yeah, it's about 17 by, I think it was by 13 or 14.
13 or 14, somewhere in there.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but it's a good size space. It sounds good in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point about the isolation piece, because if you're doing a room within a room, you're probably losing at least a foot in each direction.
Not gonna happen. Not here.
Yeah.
Nope.
So, and honestly too, the larger the room is, the better the low frequency response is going to be. And
Absolutely.
So, it's better to do that. Anything else you want to kind of highlight here for things that you work on?
Well, I mean, it really, surprisingly, it is mostly the Apollo stuff.
Yeah.
I keep it simple. A lot of stuff that I do is guitar related, so you see a lot of pedals and stuff. So I have multiple ways to feed into the system. And so I'll take my whatever guitar we need for the session, and then we'll go in through a pedal board because we design the sound here and there. That's usually, there's 3. So there's a bass pedal board, 2 guitar pedal boards, and then I will, depending on the song, I'll like go through different types of rigs. So one rig is the aux box, and so I feed a signal into the Fender, and then it feeds up into the aux box. It's like an attenuator. Yeah. So there's no sound actually comes out of the speaker at all.
Yeah.
It just goes straight into the Apollo. So that's like a direct signal type of thing.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll do is I'll actually, if you see that little yellow thing in the back, that's called the radial SGI. Yeah. And it's basically like you can just feed signal anywhere in my studio. So I feed that. It's like a DI box, I guess, in a way, and a reamping box. And it feeds a line through the walls, and it goes all the way out into a separate room. And there's an amp room. Yeah. So that's another way to get different flavors. And I like to do DI with just going straight into the Apollo DI. Sounds fantastic.
I love how clean the setup is. It's just like, and also with no sound coming out of the amp, since isolation wasn't a huge concern for you, it's even less with that. So
I mean, a lot of stuff I do is software based. I'm I guess a younger producer in that regard. So I have a lot of software synths and just do a bunch of that kind of stuff.
So as far as some of the elements, like one of the things I want to say is that I introduced you to Matt Call from Simplified Acoustics.
And he's the one who built it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes.
Very, very cool. Appreciate it.
Yes, Matt is he's awesome. He's done a bunch of studios that we've designed, and just attention to detail and the way that he's able to just really roll with changes. Like sometimes you get in here and like, hey, this isn't exactly the way I was planning, but I'm just going to make it work.
They went above and beyond, man. Yeah. They really did. I mean, the TV mount too was not part of the build, and they figured out how to make it so it doesn't fall off the wall, and it's just they did everything. They mounted all the stuff, and
they ran some conduit for you too, I think, to another mic plate.
Yeah, we got that. They did it for me. It was really kind. I got jumpers to build a custom panel that's from the live room.
Perfect.
And then it feeds through the walls and spits out at the back, and then DB25 goes into all the gear. So
that's great.
It's really nice for that. And I can go both ways too.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Oh, my favorite preamp, I guess, if you want to look at one thing, is this guy right down here.
Yeah.
It's called the 5025. That's the dual Shelford. I love that thing. It's like a, some people might disagree, but it's like a 1073 on steroids, in my opinion.
Nice.
Because it allows you to, they have this cool little silk button, and it lets you change the texture. So you can like, it's like blue and red and then off.
Okay.
And it basically just get different characteristics from it.
That's
and
awesome.
It just helps you work with clients and you'll be like, oh, you like this sound?
Yeah.
I do. So.
And then, you know, a lot of what we see here is a stretched fabric system. You know, it's like where it has this channel that has teeth that can grip fabric. You apply that on the walls after framing it out with the appropriate thickness. And there's insulation behind there, and then it gets stretched with this fabric. I love the color you chose, by the way.
Thank you.
The navy blue, kind of darker blue.
I do too. It's like a dungeon still. Yeah. It's kind of moody. I think that's what you said.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely. It's a great vibe, and you don't see it that color all that often in studios. So I enjoy it.
A lot of people I see these days have like a lot of light in their studios, and really, I guess, lifts you up a little bit. I don't know.
Sure.
I just want to be chill.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's good because you have a lot of lighting options here with the recessed lights and the sconce lights that are in here.
Yeah.
You can really set the mood.
And you can change the colors. Like the Philips hue is what I use, and just hit a button on your phone.
Yeah.
The client's like, oh, I want it to be red today. Sure.
Yeah.
Or like this song needs to be blue, or a bunch of different blues.
Needs to be red today. All right, let's rip out the fabric and let's put up new.
Yeah, just tear it all down, do it again.
No, but that's great. And there's a lot of things that are obviously hidden because we wanted to keep it clean and consistent, but there's a lot of absorption and bass trapping in corners. Back wall has these wonderful diffusers that you spray painted, right?
My grandpa helped me do this. We like, I mean, my thumb was screwed up after that, but we went outside and we spray painted all the panels. We like spray painted them.
Wow.
It was like days, actually. It took,
it took a long time. Well, with these diffusers as well, it's really difficult because there's so many surface areas that are on the inside of the wells, and you gotta have even coverage. So
you gotta have room for the lights behind the LED bar around it's so important.
Yeah,
that's probably the most important part.
You know, it does set it off. I mean, I don't want to. That was a pun. I'm sorry about that, but it does set it off the back wall. What about microphones? Like, what's your go-to?
I have I mean, not all of them are out, but lately I've really been liking this Telefunken. It's a TF51, and basically it's a cheaper version of the. I don't even know how to say it. The ELAM 251 or the ELAM 251, which is a over $10,000 microphone. So this one's way cheaper than that, and it sounds excellent, truthfully. So I like that one a lot. And then this one I got recently. It's another Universal Audio product. You'll see a theme in the studio. But it's the Sphere Deluxe. It's like a modeling mic. So it can do your U67. It can do the C800. It can do a bunch of stuff. And so I actually. It's strange. I've compared that to some of the really expensive mics, and people pick that one.
Wow.
And I'm just like, huh.
Yeah.
And it's way cheaper.
Yeah, that's right. That's
so
awesome.
It's great. That's probably the one I'm going to use the most going forward.
Nice.
So
you also have these Flex 48s from Acoustical Fulfillment. Those are on the sidewalls.
Yeah.
That's a product I got a patent for and designed, and it's really great because it does a couple things. Like it adds diffusion to the room when the shields are in place, but then it also creates bass trapping. Like it's a really good bass trap in the 80 to 125 hertz range, which rooms of this size usually struggle with.
That was something that I really struggled with.
Yeah.
It's important.
And I mean, I know that you keep the shields in most of the time.
I do.
But if you wanted to dry up this area a little bit more, and you know, and track vocals here or something like that, you could take the shields out. But honestly, even with them in,
I still like the sound of it, even with them on for vocals.
Sure,
it sounds great.
That's great. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's just that, and we got ceiling clouds. We have some more diffusers on the ceiling. You know, just it's a really, really nice space to mix and listen to music, but just to hang out and be creative. So.
Literally, yeah.
It's
super cool.
Also, you have some Cali speakers here.
I do have some Cali. Yeah, I love them actually. They sound great. They're super small, but they pack a punch for what they do. They're pretty accurate in the grand scheme of things. And I mean, the sleeper is the Avitone Mix Cube, and I mean, it's just like listening to a TV or something. Or,
it's great to check your mixes on, you know, just
you have to.
Yeah, just to make sure it's going to play well in the car or on earbuds or things like that.
Literally, yeah. And then if you go out to the car and it sucks, then it's too bad. So, but
nice.
Yeah.
But that won't happen in this room.
Oh, no, it's going to be perfect every time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite part of having a studio like this?
I mean, just having it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I love being able to just come in and feel inspired immediately.
Nice.
That to me is important. It's because like we were talking earlier and talking about work, you come home and you're tired and you're just like, I don't know if I want to do anything or I don't want to make music. But if you come into a room like this, you're kind of like, okay, I might want to do music today.
Yeah.
It feels special. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it just hypes me up.
Nice.
Gets me going.
So what, you've had the studio for a little while, but what's the future plans for it? What do you want to use it for?
I mean, really, I want to record bands. That's I love doing that. Or
Yeah.
I mean, just more clients. But bands is something that I've always loved doing and want to do more of.
Yeah.
And I mean, out there when we get to seeing the space in the live room, it's still just like a basement with it's got nice little panels out there. But my goal is to build that space out even more. Hopefully, my girlfriend doesn't get mad about that, but we'll see.
And I know part of the process was getting a patch panel out into the live room, like running it from the desk all the way through to a patch panel over by the drums. You want to show us that?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's key for the studio to function.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of hiding back here behind these panels, but it's a jumpers box, and so it's a custom built jumpers box. I reached out to the owner of Jumpers and
Zane, right?
Zane,
he does great work.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He did it, and he like got it so quick to me. They like pushed it through really fast because we were in a deadline to get Matt's team over here to get that stuff done. Yeah. But it basically is. I mean, it's not a big one. 16 channels of XLR, and then I got I believe it's 8 channels of TRS returns, and then I got Ethernet because I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll do like a some type of monitor system that's with Ethernet because a lot of people are moving that way.
Yeah.
So I just wanted flexibility.
Yeah.
And then I can do my mixes for the bands and then record into there.
Yeah, this is a great space to, I mean, being right off the studio to track in. And I love these the studio stackers from ATS that you just recently got.
I really did just recently get them. They're really nice. They sound great. I put them up close and try to record, and it feels really, really nice and dead.
Yeah, and it's good for just a little bit of separation when you track a lot of things live at the same time.
You have to have it. Yeah, I was thinking like I want those little booths that you see in like Abbey Road, and I mean there'll be more of these to come. I'm sure.
We'll do an update at that point.
Do an update. Yeah.
Awesome. And so, do you do a lot of tracking live, with bands, or do you do more multi-tracking?
Yeah, multi-tracking.
Yeah.
And I mean both. Just depends on what's happening.
Sure.
I mean, depends on if the band can record to a click as well.
Yes.
Which is kind of tough.
Which is
for a lot of bands.
Yeah, challenging for some, myself included. Like it was foreign when I first started doing it. For
sure. But yeah, whatever. Honestly.
Great. And with tracking the bands, you're also mixing them as well. Is that the case?
It's actually, I have a guy that I work with. His name's Charlie, and we're kind of starting. It's a recent thing where we're basically I got the band. He helps produce with the band, these are talks basically.
Sure.
It's very like in the last couple months we're talking about this.
Yeah.
And so yes, I'll do a lot of the primary mixing in the beginning of it, and then he'll do the finishing touches. So I'll send it off to him.
Gotcha.
And we're just trying to start a business in that way.
That's awesome. That'd be great. And the nice thing is that in Fort Wayne, there's quite the music scene with Sweetwater being here. But I'm sure that it's probably not hard to find a band that wants to record in a space like this.
You just go down to the brass rail, you find yourself a band.
Yeah.
You're ready to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's really great. All right, Sean. Well, thanks so much for having us in and allowing us to tour your beautiful space. So
thanks for being here, man, and thanks for helping design it.
Yeah. It was like I said, it's a super fun project. It's always good to get to know our clients too, and to be here at the end of it to see like what you get to enjoy every single day. It's pretty awesome.
I'm super lucky, man.
Yeah. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.